So, thanks for joining. My name is Zach Parker. I'm Dad the Berserker. And today we're going to be working on this watch band here. This is a watch band that my brother has had for a really long time. And it started to wear out. And so you can kind of see a little bit there of just how much damage there is to the watch band that's existing. I think it was originally made by Guess. I think. That's just a guess. But the leather on that was very, very thin, and it wasn't very good quality leather. And so what we're going to do is replace it all and make a brand new one. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take the old watch band apart. We're going to trace all the pieces out on the new leather that we're going to use. And you can see there I'm trying to essentially see like how things were put together and cutting out the new watch band pieces. And I'll start to shape those once I get things sort of trimmed out. Just kind of checking out. So there was a little piece of plastic on that band there, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to reuse it, but I just decided to go ahead and leave it on there because why not? So once I got these pieces cut out, I'm going to go ahead and start to shape the end there. That's the billet end, or the end that goes through the buckle. And so that what I'm doing right there, that's a process called edge beveling. So I'm taking a little tool and just going along the edge of the leather to give it less of a sharp corner on the top. This kind of rounds it over a little bit. It's actually a chamfer, if you know what a chamfer is, but it's it's not. It doesn't feel like it because of the way the leather works. And so what you end up doing, we'll show later on, is I go through and use this tool called a burnisher to sort of round those edges over a little bit more and give it kind of a sealed effect, right? So that it'll be a little bit more resistant to water and it looks a little bit nicer. And I'm struggling to get that that billet through the leather. I had to skive it down pretty hard. Where I was skiving is essentially thinning the leather down, right? So you want to take the thickness of the leather and reduce it so that you can do things with it. Now, on both ends of the billet for the watch there, I had to skive down the thickness of the leather pretty significantly in order to get it to fit through that slot where the watch band goes for the old one. And that knife that I'm using right there, that's called a skiving knife. And that's the first one I ever bought, and it's particularly terrible. It's fine as a cutting instrument, so if you buy one of those off Amazon like I did, it's fine as a cutting instrument. It'll cut like nobody's business. But if you actually want to be able to skive where you're reducing the thickness of the leather, you'll probably want to invest in something else. Another tool will work much, much better. And I actually have another tool that I'm using that I kind of cut that part out. I'm using a Tandy Pro skiving machine that's mounted to my workbench, just outside the camera view there. And it works pretty well once you kind of figure it out. It took me a while to kind of get used to it, but it's a pretty good tool. So there's the burnishing that I was talking about. That tool right there, that brown, that's just a piece of walnut that's been turned, and it's very, very smooth. And so I'm going across the edges of the leather and just rounding them over a little bit. And because of the friction between the tool and the leather itself, Some of the oils come out of the leather. At least this is what I'm told. So I don't know how true any of this is, but this is what I'm told. Some of the oils come out of the leather, and they effectively kind of burn a little bit on the surface of the leather. It's called a burnish, right? It's not exactly burning in the sense of like setting it on fire, but rather, well, I said that as I am burning with an actual torch there. But yeah, so the torch that I'm using there is to burn away some of the hairs. So leather can get pretty hairy on the back side of it, and you'll see in a minute how I'm going to solve that issue for the wrist pad that's going to go on there. But anyway, yeah, there's some more skiving. That's another skiving instrument right there. So just trying to get that leather thin enough to slide through the slot for the watch band. It was a lot of fun to work on this project. It was just something different that I don't normally do. So, and it was fairly simple because I already had a pattern, right? I just used the old watch band as the pattern. There's a thing called a keeper, and so the keeper is anytime you have a belt system, the end of the belt that goes through the buckle that just kind of hangs out there after you've got the buckle buckled. That end is called the billet, and it just kind of flops out there in the breeze unless you have one of those loops on your belt. And that loop is called a keeper because it keeps the belt from flopping in the breeze. And so I decided to use the keeper from the old watch band on the new watch band. And actually, I didn't even do that. I cut a new keeper out of the middle of the old wrist pad piece there. So you'll probably see that here in just a couple of minutes. But there I'm using that skiving knife. It's a great little slicing knife. It does a good job, cutting very clean lines whenever you're trying to slice, across the face of the leather. But if you're trying to skive it down, that thing is terrible. I would find a different knife. And there's some more burnishing. So trying to smooth those edges over and get them nice. Now I'm doing water burnishing there, which is just basically where you take regular water and just, wet the leather, the sides of the leather, and then you take the burnishing tool and go over that until it starts to become, have that burnished effect to it. There's lots of other stuff that you can use. There's stuff called toconol, which is kind of a cream that you put on there, and it will help you to burnish as well. You can also use just regular old beeswax. There's another agent. I forget what it's called. It's got a kind of a funny name. It'll probably come to me here in a minute. So I've got the watch pad cut out there, and I'm trying to skive down the slots where the watch band is going to slide through so that it'll slide through there a bit easier. And I'm getting it a little bit wet, and I'm going to use my burnishing tool to make those inner parts of the slot a little bit burnished so that it'll help with the sliding the watch band through there. And then here in just a second, I'm going to take that same burnishing tool and sort of expand those slots out a little bit using that prong end there. There you go. So I'm trying to hollow that out a little bit and open it up so that I could actually slide the band through it. So this is also going to create a little bit of space in there, burnishing the backside of those slots. Let's see. Oh, so those are wing dividers that I'm using there. And I'm just kind of going around. What that does is it's like some people call it a compass, but we call them wing dividers in leatherworking. And it's just, two metal prongs, and it creates a little line in the leather. And so you can, create a nice, consistent line around the edge of the leather, so that you can use it to like punch a stitch line or do all kinds of stuff. Now that is the glue. It's called Barge. It's contact cement that I'm using there, and I'm going to use that to bind these two pieces together. So the top piece, the watch pad there, it's made out of I think that was a 4 to 6 ounce leather that I was using, and then the bottom piece is actually it's something called milled veg tan. So it's very smooth and very pliable. It makes a great backing piece if you just want to clean up the backside, called the flesh side, right? If you want to clean up the flesh side of the leather, the milled veg tan is fantastic for that, because it's flexible, but it's also dyeable, so you can, do it just like the regular veg tan that you're working with. And there I got all the edges trimmed away from the watch pad. So we're just going to use a little piece of sandpaper there, go around the sides, get the edges cleaned up nice so that they're nice and smooth and no rough areas hanging out, no little stragglers around, and also do a bit of shaping, right? So we can use the sandpaper to shape just like you would shape a piece of wood, just to make sure that it's any little warbles or any kind of odd things are kind of removed before we start to do the finishing process, right? So I'm just running around the edges again with the edge skiver, or the edge beveler rather, just to make sure that we've got everything nice and smooth all the way around. And now I'll go ahead and start doing the edge burnishing for the watch pad. All right, so that, or the wrist pad rather. So that wrist pad, as I find things that, I don't like, I'm going to take that sandpaper and just kind of smooth it down a little bit. But then continue with the burnishing. And so once we get done with this, then we'll be in a good position to go ahead and start doing the final stages, where we're going to dye everything. We're going to use a walnut stain. And I don't think I recorded that, so that will be, you'll see some pictures at the end of what it looks like. But we put a walnut stain on it, and then we also put some stuff called leather sheen, which is kind of a spray wax that you can use. It comes in a spray can, like spray paint. Looks just like that, and you just kind of spray it on just like you would spray paint anything else. So it's very simple to use, and creates a nice effective little barrier there. Gives it a nice pleasant finish to it. So I did do the dyeing here. So yep, there's the walnut dye. Now once it's dry, it looks pretty dark right now, but once it's dry, it will lighten up quite a bit. And you want to make sure that you get both sides so that there you go. You can see it's not quite dry there, but that's a good picture. Yeah. So you can see it's lightened up quite a bit. And then we'll see some pictures of it in the sun here. and hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment, and see you next time.